there. Hello there. How are you doing? How are you doing, baby? It's been a while since the audience has seen you. You got anything to say to them? Any new updates? Anything going on in your life? No, same old, same old. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Alright then. Hello, everyone. Good morning, everybody. It has been a fat minute. Hello again. I guess I'm back. In case you haven't seen my last video, first of all, go watch it. It's fucking amazing and I'm really proud of it. Here's a clip. Doesn't that just look incredible? Go watch it right now. But second of all, if you're wondering where I've been, I was in Scotland, and then when I got home I made the Scotland video obviously, and after that I just sort of didn't feel like there was anything I wanted to make. So I just sort of had a bit of a break for myself, and lots changed. A lot has happened. Every fucking country on the face of the earth has gone into total lockdown, the economy has fucking plummeted, and we're all in quarantine. Is probably the main thing that's changed recently. And that means that I have a whole lot of free time on my hands, which means I get bored. A lot. And I imagine you do as well. You know, there's only so much gaming, Netflix binging, baking, masturbating you can do to pass the time before it all just becomes a little bit repetitive. So what I've taken to in these trying times, I have started to teach myself completely useless things. And I'm gonna teach those things to you. Now, having spent the past couple of days teaching myself completely useless things, I have obviously taught myself a couple of card tricks. Now, card tricks, these are a lot of fun. I've learned quite a few of these and I'm gonna teach you a couple of them right now. Now I know the Magician's Code states that you should never reveal your secrets to anybody else, but I think that's a load of bollocks. So, to all the magicians in my audience, jog on. For how would the art of magic spread if you never teach? So without any further ado, let's learn some fucking card tricks. This first one is called the bottom card boogaloo. It isn't actually called that, I've just fucking made that up on the spot. But what you do in it, basically, you take a deck of cards, any deck of cards really, and shuffle it a bit whilst you're explaining the trick to your audience. Shuffle it a bit, and once you're done shuffling, just note the bottom card. Make a mental note of whatever the card you see on the bottom is, just remember it. Now what you're going to do is you're going to give the deck of cards to one of the spectators and then just sort of let them do all of your work for you. Just makes it seem a little more authentic that you're not the one handling the cards at that moment. So, give the deck of cards to a spectator, ask them to cut the deck of cards. They can shuffle it then as many times as they want. Once they've done that, ask them to turn over the top card of the deck that they have there, without letting you see it obviously, and just remember that card. Just to remember the card, because that'll be their chosen card, right? After that, they're just gonna put the deck that they have in their hands underneath the deck that you have. And now, your key card, which you've remembered, will be directly below their chosen card. So what you want to do now is you want to start dealing cards, dealing them from right to left in a bit of a line so that you can see each card as it's dealt, and just keep dealing them, keep dealing them. At some point, you'll get to your key card, and the card that you deal directly after, that will be the chosen card. It's important here though that you don't make any sort of reaction to when you see the key card, right? Just keep dealing the cards for a little while longer after you've dealt the chosen card. Then when you only have a few cards left in your hand, you can stop and say, hey, the next card that I'll play, this one right here, is going to be your card. At this point, the spectator should be feeling really smug, because obviously they've already seen their card dealt on the table, and they're thinking that you've fucked it up, right? So you make a really fucking big deal about how this next card right here is going to be their card, and then just when you're about to deal that card, put it back into the deck and say, actually, and at this point you make the dramatic reveal that you've known what their card was all along. Name the card and then point it out in the deck. I fucking guarantee you, people will be impressed. Unless they've seen this video, but that's a risk you're probably willing to take, because nobody watches my videos. Right, so that was the bottom card boogaloo. The next card trick that I'm going to teach you is called Any Deck, Anytime. That's its actual name. I didn't make that up. I remembered it from my brain. This trick is a bit more complicated. What you want to do, right, is you want to get a deck of cards, any deck of cards again, and again, you're going to want to ask a spectator to sort of do all the work for you here, just to make it seem a little bit more authentic. So, first of all, get yourself a spectator and hand them the deck of cards. Ask them to cut it into 3 approximately equal-sized decks. Now you're going to want to turn your back or close your eyes or whatever. This is the part where the thing that you're not supposed to know is happening. Ask the spectator to choose any one of the decks, give it a good shuffle, as many as they want, and then, once again, note the top card of that deck. And then what you want to do is ask them to place their chosen deck face upwards on top of one of the decks, and then place the final deck on top of that. So now you should be left with 1 face up deck of cards sandwiched in between 2 face down decks. At this point you can turn back around or open your eyes or whatever. The thing that you're not supposed to know has already transpired. Then you're going to want to ask the spectator to just shuffle the deck, shuffle the cards into each other. At this point it does get a little bit tricky. You're going to take back the deck from the spectator and you'll have to make sure that it's the right way up, otherwise this trick won't work. What you're going to want to do then is you're going to want to start spreading the cards, looking through them to see that yes, indeed, the face up and face down cards are completely randomly interspersed. But you're going to notice something that the spectator won't necessarily notice. You're going to notice that approximately in the middle of the deck there will be a run of face up cards that is longer than any other run in the deck. And you'll know that the face down card directly left of the run of the face up cards is going to be the chosen card. And then you can make a big deal of trying to locate where this card is, and then just pull out their chosen card, and Bob's your uncle, you've got yourself a magic trick. Boom, you're a wizard, Harry. So those are the 2 magic tricks that I wanted to show you, and now that we've got those out of the way, we can move on to the actually completely redundant and useless things that I've learnt during quarantine. Because magic tricks, they at least have some applicability, but you know what doesn't? Knowing how to tie a knot with just one hand. Which I'm now having to re-record because my dumbass messed up the framing first time around and you didn't actually see me tie the knot. But what you want to do is you just want to get a length of rope around your hand, just like that, and then you just want to kind of do that flippity-doo-dah, flippity-day-doo, and hey presto, you have a knot. Now I understand that this is hard to see, but just sort of try to follow along as I do. First thing you want to do is you want to sort of twist your wrist like that, and get this bit of the rope onto your middle finger, between your middle finger and your index finger. You don't want to have this bit of rope there, however, so you'll have to sort of do some jiggery-pokery to get it to look like this, if you can see. Like that. And once you're here, all you need to do is just tilt your wrist downwards and let it fall through, and you have a knot. One other thing I've learned actually is how to tie a knot without letting go of the ends. What you want to do is you want to set a length of rope in front of you on a table or something, cross your arms, grab hold of the ends of the rope with both hands, and then just unfold them. And hey presto, you've got a knot. It's that simple. It just works. This next thing that I'm going to show you isn't actually something that I've learned in quarantine, it's something that I already knew, but it could actually possibly be useful for you to know as well. And it's how to properly coil up a cord. Because most people, they don't know how to take care of their cords. They sort of just fucking put it into a fucking pile, a jumbled mess of cord like that, and just shove it into a cupboard. It's disgusting. It hurts my soul to even think about it. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you how to do it properly. Right, so you're going to want to start by just taking hold of one end of the cord. I'm wearing black and it's a black cord. I really should have worn something else for this. There are actually 2 ways to properly coil a cord. I'm going to show you them both. This first one is the easier one. So you just get a length of cord, just like that, and just bring it around to your other hand. And when you bring it around, just grab a hold of it, and you just sort of repeat that motion over and over. What's important about this method is that every time you bring a cord around, you do this sort of twisty motion with your fingers. So when you bring it around, you sort of twist it, just like that. Then you just keep doing that time and time again, and soon enough you have an accurately coiled cord. And there's a pretty simple way that you can actually check if you've done this right, because if you just take a hold of one of the ends of the cord and you just throw it out, it should just perfectly unfold. The other method of coiling a cord, again, you just start with your hand just like this, and you do the same twisty, turny around, bring it to your hand motion that you did last time, but then you do something different. You actually sort of twist it inwards. So you don't actually twist it like this again, instead you twist it like this, you see? Just like that. So it sort of makes an S shape at first, and then you just sort of boom. Then you just do a regular one again, and inside once again, and regular, and inside, and regular, and inside, and there you go. You've got a coiled cord. And once again, you can check to see if you've done it right by just throwing it out. So now, my dear friends, you too possess the forbidden knowledge of how to properly coil a cord, and I hope you use it in your day-to-day life, because if you don't, I will personally come to your house and defenestrate your fucking kneecaps. Have you ever wondered what the terminal velocity of a hacky sack is? Because it's 40 kilometers an hour. I calculated this last night with my friend whilst we were waiting for our D&D session to start. Don't ask why, I cannot remember, but what I do remember are some interesting hacky sack history facts. Hacky sack, as a whole thing, actually originated in dynastic era China, when the imperial guards would need something to keep them occupied during their night shifts. They would get some cloth, stick some fucking beans and hairs in it, and just sort of kick it about. That is the first recorded hacky sack, or as we in the business like to call it, foot bag, because hacky sack is actually just a brand name. Much like Hoover is actually just a brand name for vacuums, hacky sack is actually just a brand name for foot bags. Hacky sack, the name, originates from the United States of America in the 1970s. There was this one footballer who had suffered a knee injury, and he was just so fed up with not playing football that he just invented a sport. And he now is dead, but also earned a lot of money off of that, probably. And the last thing that I've learnt during quarantine is that happiness, whilst a thing that comes from within ultimately, requires energy for you to make it, and that energy needs external influences to sort of keep hold. So if we don't have those external influences like our hobbies and our friends, we cannot have the energy to supply ourselves with happiness. So basically what I'm saying is, this quarantine has had a fucking hell of a toll on my mental health. I'll fucking drink to that. Right, well, I think that's just about enough for this video. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. Sorry that it's taken me such a long time to get back to making videos, but I'm back now. I'm gonna try and make them more regularly now that I've got my motivation back. And yeah, if you liked the video, fan-fucking-tastic. If you didn't, you can just go fuck yourself or something. I hope you're all having a good quarantine. I hope you're all seeing your friends as much as you possibly can. Call your grandparents, call your friends, tell them you love them. And just sort of, you know, just remember to keep people company and check up on your friends, because I suppose we're all a bit lonely right now. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. It is genuinely good to be back, and I genuinely hope you have a good day. See you in the next one.